everyone, episode 10 of Unmasked takes us back 20 years. Koo Hyung-tae hands over a disc containing Haewon's interview to Cho Tae-soo, receiving a check in return. Fast forward to the present, So-ryong is speaking with Haewon. This time, Haewon reveals that she needs help. She warns So-ryong that if anything happens to her, they are responsible. It's clear she's referring to Hanja Group. Moments later, tragedy strikes. Haewon's workshop explodes, with someone inside. Han-do and So-ryong watch in horror, unable to do anything. Jin-man, meanwhile, takes pictures of a ring found on Haewon's burnt body. Outside the hospital, So-ryong and Han-do wait anxiously. When So-ryong asks Jin-man about an autopsy, he has his men open the coffin, revealing the horrifying sight of Haewon's remains. But Jin-man isn't as grieving as he seems. In private, he celebrates his sister's death next to his father. He then calls President Koo, asking when Cho Tae-soo's death will be announced. Koo, meanwhile, is already working on another problem, So-ryong. With urgency in Lee Yumi's case, So-ryong decides to air the episode earlier. But just then, Koo storms in, slamming a court summons on her desk. The accusation? That So-ryong's interview techniques led Haewon to suicide. At the same time, news of Cho Tae-soo's death breaks, and Koo pins the blame on So-ryong. She records a new trigger episode and heads straight to the police station. Back at Chaos, Koo pushes to shut Trigger down. But Han-do steps in, revealing that he was behind the first Dr. Trigger post. He reminds Koo of their deal and refuses to let the show be cancelled. At the police station, So-ryong is interrogated. The detective shocks her with a revelation. Her source for the Haewon interview was none other than Haewon's husband, who is now dead. Another death linked to So-ryong. When she finally leaves, Han-do is waiting for her. He tells her he exposed himself as Dr. Trigger to save the show, but So-ryong doubts it'll work. That night, Koo cancels the Trigger episode about Lee Yumi. Furious, So-ryong confronts him, reciting laws that make his actions illegal. But Koo has his own weapons secrets. He threatens to expose the Trigger team unless So-ryong confesses to coercive interviews. The audit team ransacks the Trigger office. Ji-ho, upon learning Han-do is Dr. Trigger, blames him for everything. Han-do leaves, while So-ryong apologizes to the team for keeping secrets. Later, she reminds Ji-ho that Han-do once stood up for him. Han-do, seeing So-ryong cry in her car, leaves a note on her windshield. Cheer up. Elsewhere, Hong Na-hee finally gets her script approved. Then, she hears shocking news. So-ryong is holding a press conference. At the podium, So-ryong publicly apologizes for the trouble caused by Trigger. She then drops a bombshell. This apology was just a formality. She plays a recording of Haewon's voice, where she warns So-ryong to investigate Hanju if anything happens to her. So-ryong boldly declares that anyone trying to cancel the show is complicit in Haewon's death. The fight for truth isn't over. Koo, unfazed, tells her she's being demoted. But So-ryong counters with an official complaint against his misconduct. Despite everything, the Trigger team carries on without her. Ji-ho even tries to make amends with Han-do. Then, a mysterious woman arrives with flowers for So-ryong from Cho Haewon. The final shot? So-ryong, now reduced to cleaning an ice hockey arena. Episode review. This episode is filled with twists and turns. The aftermath of Haewon's death puts So-ryong and her team in deep trouble. With Hanja Group and President Koo tightening their grip, the battle feels impossible. The threat of Trigger being shut down and So-ryong facing criminal charges keeps the tension high. Though this episode moves slower, it's still gripping. The lack of progress in the Songwook case is frustrating, but the final moments, So-ryong's press conference and her unwavering fight, make it all worthwhile. She refuses to back down, proving that she's the heart of the show.